Ooh, somebody's about to get that ass taxed around here. The review of the movie The Tax Collector is coming up right after. The movie The Tax Collector stars Bobby Soto and Shia LaBeouf. Directed by David Ayers. David Ayers is the director who did Suicide Squad, End of Watch. But David basically is the main character in the story, and his character basically goes around collecting the taxes of the gangs in LA. He works for a crime lord called the Wizard. Now, basically, what a tax collector is someone who goes around collecting the taxes from all the gangs in LA. Basically, any illegal crime they do, as far as gun running, prostitution, drugs, they pay David's family for protection for that, so no one messes with them, so they can do whatever they want. And the Wizard is the head shot caller, if you will, but he is in jail. But still, everything is being run via David's family, who are the tax collector. Everything is basically going all well and fine until the Wizard's ancient rival comes back to LA to claim what is rightfully his, basically tries to become the new tax collector, and with that in line, taking out the competition, basically taking out David and Chopper and his whole entire family to get back on top to become the head supreme leader in charge, if you will. Now that's kind of just the premise of the movie. I didn't want to give too much of it away. I know it was very light, but I have to say I was a little disappointed in this movie. Like, to me, I thought this movie was going to be like excellent. Like, I thought it was going to be like the movie that kind of brought Shia LaBeouf's character back to, like, you know, the age of kind of like when he was big, like in Transformers, and like, you know, kind of when he was a household name. He still, don't get me wrong, is a good actor and he's a good method actor, but if you really look at the trailers, like, you think that he's this big scary dude that people are scared of, and a lot of people basically been saying like he's like a fake Mexican, and you know, but the thing that I don't like about the movie is, and what I think a lot of people have problems with David Ayers' basically directing style, is the movie the movie is shot very well, but the storyline of the movie, the writing isn't very cohesive. There's so many plots that they leave out in the story. Like, we get no backstory on Chopper's character. Like, why is he this white boy in the hood? Basically, that's basically what it was. He was a white boy that grew up in the hood. They really never tell you that. You kind of have to, like, piece that together by yourself. How did he get to that position? Why is everyone scared of him? You know, and to me, David's character, played by Bobby Soto, really wasn't a good lead for this. I don't think, like, to me, I hate to say it, but he had that pretty boy look. Like, to me, I wouldn't be scared of him. Like, I'm like, you a little pretty boy. He didn't give off that I'm gonna kill you and your whole family, don't fuck with me. I didn't get that vibe from him. I got that from Shia LaBeouf's character, Chopper. Like, I really did. Like, I felt that damn, like, he will kill me, my family, and my dog if I piss him off. But at the same time, we never really got to see that side of Shia LaBeouf, because we really didn't get to see that much of his character in the movie. Like, he was only in basically 3/4 of 9. He was barely in half of the movie, and we kind of really never got to see the kind of evolution of his character. Like, he kept saying, like, throughout the whole, let me at him, I'll go kill whoever, I'll go do this, I'll go do that, I'll leave his whole family. I'm like, all right, bring that shit. Like, I want to see him get down. There's a scene in the movie where that kind of got me, where, like, when I saw the trailer, he goes, I got a Glock on my hip, I got 38 on my belt, I got
a 380 on each ankle, 38 in my right, 25 on my left, chopper in the trunk, Glock on my belt. I'm on it.
Chopper in the back. Like, after that scene right there, I'm like, oh, he's about that life. Like, he's about that action. And we never got to see him be about that action, because it never panned out. And I'm just kind of sitting there like what happened with that? Like, you know, like, this movie had all this promise and praise, kind of, especially from the trailer. Like, you really seen, like, oh man, like, you know, you thought that Shia LaBeouf's character was going to be kind of like, even though it showed you he's not the main character, you thought he was gonna have like one of them kind of breakout roles. Like, you know, even though he's not the main guy, he's gonna outshine the main guy, and he didn't. And then, you know, Bobby Soto's character, played by David, to me was just he was just an okay person, and like but that was kind of it. Like you got to see like you got to see basically his character really didn't want that gangster life. He was just kind of brought onto there because that was his family's kind of way of life, and he kind of basically was taking the mantle, if you will. And that's nothing you kind of have to piece together, like to see like, well, he really didn't want that, and that's the thing that kind of sucks is like it really didn't have a backstory. The movie was like an hour and 35 minutes, and they could have connected all these dots, but the main two other characters you kind of really didn't see like their there was there was no backstory to them. And to me, like a movie like this, like when you bring a character like Shia LaBeouf, he's this white boy who's basically hanging out with all these Mexicans, and you just kind of like, well, how the hell did we get here? Like, why is everyone so scared of him? And kind of like with David's character, you didn't realize like, why is this kid like, why is this dude really not as menacing? Oh, he really doesn't want to do this. It's just his family business. Like why? How did he get here? How did the wizard, who was the ultimate drug lord, how did he end in jail? How did he get caught? Like, there's so many layers of things that they didn't touch on that they should have. Like, the movie should have been longer as well. And they also kind of, the thing I didn't like about the trailer is that they made think it's gonna be like this action suspense movie, but there's like maybe two big shootouts, and they're spread throughout the movie. So, like I have to say, this movie was a bit disappointing because I kind of expected more. I mean, it's one of them things where the trailer really hyped it up, and like I said, with David Ayers, like to me, he did a good job with Suicide Squad, and he did a good job with End of Watch, because he's really part of that gang culture. And if you guys remember the movie End of Watch, it was basically centered around two LA cops who basically take down the cartel, and they basically become too powerful, and they end up taking down like all these different like drug houses and everything. They become like one of LA's most like hated. Like they put a bounty on their heads because they're still going out here doing raiding drug houses. And that was just such a dope movie. Like it gave you that cops vibe, like that first person shooter, like that real LA street life. And to me, this movie gave you those elements of the LA street life and that gang life of what people kind of expect of that cartel and these dangerous people, of all the things they do. But the one thing I will say is the villain, I can't pronounce his name. He was a very good villain. Like he kind of immersed himself into that villainous role of very like dark magic, like I'm praising the devil, cutting chickens and dumping blood on me, and he but like the thing that I liked about him was he was like one of them straight up, like he goes like, I'll kill you and your whole family, but if you come with me, I'll spare you, and you can just ride with me and become more powerful. That's basically the deal that he gave David, and David was just like, no, and he regretted that, obviously, or if you don't, he regretted that choice, not going with him, because he made his life a living hell. But to me, that was a really good villain. That like you really didn't know why he was you really didn't know why he was doing the things he was doing, but at the same time, it really didn't matter because you knew he was there, you knew he was a badass, and you knew he was about that action. So that's the only thing that really mattered. So to me, like that was one person's backstory who I really didn't mind not getting, because you just knew what he was about. So, but like I said, I have to say I was a little bit disappointed in this movie. I really thought it was going to be kind of one of those breakout roles for Shia LaBeouf, and he really kind of didn't pan out. Like he was only in like kind of like not even half of the movie, like and so that's like that was really really disappointing. And like I said, Bobby Soto's David character to me was like a little pretty boy who really didn't get that menacing vibe. Like I would be scared of him if I was attacked, if I was in a gang, he was coming collecting my money. Like I wouldn't be scared. But like with that said, guys, if you guys like movie reviews, TV show reviews, video game reviews, think about subscribing to the channel. If you have Instagram, follow me on Instagram, MrBeeman13. I would highly appreciate that. And please give me a like if you like what you saw. And once again, drop comments, guys. Let me know if you guys have seen this movie, what you think about this movie, what you think about David Ayers as a director, what you think about Shia LaBeouf as an actor. Drop those comments. Let me know what you guys thought about this. And as always, guys, MrMoviesXkicks is out. Holla to you guys.